because access to credit can be as important to growing a small business as it is to the big ones. And you shouldn't have to be a Fortune 500 company to get a loan. For many small businesses, these loans have always come from community banks with deep local ties. But today, those same local banks are being squeezed by regulations that don't make sense for their size and mission, like endless examinations and paperwork designed for banks that measure their assets in the many billions. And when it gets harder for small banks to do their jobs, it gets harder for small businesses to get their loans. We can ease these burdens for community banks without harming consumers and without letting up one bit on Wall Street. We should not apply the same restrictions on community banks as those needed to regulate our big banks. Now, let's be clear about this. It's not the big banks that need relief from Washington. It's small banks and small businesses. We should be doing more to rein in risky behavior on Wall Street and too big to fail banks, not less. I fully support the regulations from Dodd-Frank on the big banks, but we should pass common sense community banking reform right now. However, the Republicans in the Congress insist on using this issue to give relief to community banks as a Trojan horse for rolling back protections for consumers and rolling back the rules on the biggest banks, as we're seeing right now in legislation that Republicans are introducing. We should call this what it is, a cynical attempt to game the system for those at the top. Our goal should be helping community banks serve their neighbors and customers the way they always have, to make it easier to give out responsible loans to responsible small businesses so they can do what they do best, create jobs and help families get ahead and stay ahead.